Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we are seeing this wonderful chapter of Dhruva Maharaj's pastimes, where Dhruva Maharaj is actually seeing this wonderful description of the Lord's form is actually given. So let's chant this sloka. Srivatshankam Ganashyamam Purusham Vanamalinam Shanka Chakra Gadapadmair Abhivyakta Chaturbhujam. The Lord is further described as having the mark of Srivatsa, or the sitting place of Goddess of Fortune, and his bodily hue is deep bluish. The Lord is a person, he wears a garland of flowers, and he is eternally manifest with 4 hands, with which holds, beginning from the lower left hand, a conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower. Purport. Here in this verse, the word Purusham is very significant. The Lord is never female. He is always male, Purusha. Therefore, the impersonalist who imagines the Lord's form as that of a woman is mistaken. The Lord appears in female form if necessary, but his perpetual form is Purusha because he is the original male. The feminine feature of the Lord is displayed by Goddess of Fortune, Lakshmi, Radharani, Sita, etc. All these goddesses of fortune are servitors of the Lord. They are not the supreme, as falsely imagined by the impersonalist. Lord Krishna, in his Narayana feature, is always 4-handed. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna wanted to see his universal form, he showed his feature of 4-handed Narayana. Some devotees are of the opinion that Krishna is an incarnation of Narayana, but the Bhagavatam school says that Narayana is a manifestation of Krishna. Okay, so this is a very nice aspect that has been described here. So let's try to understand some of the essential aspects which are given here. So one is that the Lord's wonderful features are described. The Lord is described of having a Srivatsa mark. So it's a white curl of hair that's there in the chest of the Lord, and which actually marks the sitting place of Goddess of Fortune, Srivatsa. So it's a place where the Goddess of Fortune resides. And his bodily hue is deep bluish. So this is Ganashyamam, right? So it is mentioned as Ganashyamam. So in this way, like the Lord's color is many places, it's very wonderfully described. In Brahma Samhita, it is described as Asita Ambuda Sundarangam. So Asita Ambuda Sundarangam means like the Ambuda is, Ambu means water, and Ambuda means it's a cloud, and Asita means like newly formed fresh rain clouds, and the color of them, color of that is dark blue, right? So one thing to understand is like Krishna's color cannot be understood by the material vision. So because Krishna is transcendental, his body is transcendental, and the color of Krishna doesn't actually exist in anywhere in the material world, right? So it is just a close kind of an this one that we can relate with, so like that. So that the comparison is given, and then the Lord is a person. He is called as Purusha, right? So in this shloka, so Purusham Vanamalinam. So about Purusha, like Prabhupada elaborately explained, so that we will study in a while. And then he wears a garland of flowers, and that's why we also offer the Lord, wonderful garlands, in our temples. So it is following in this one of what he likes and how he dresses himself. So we know how he dresses himself, and we offer such a dress to him, right? And he's eternally manifest with 4 hands. So here the description of the Paramatma is going on. So how Dhruva Maharaj is going to actually take darshan of the Lord in his own heart. So as Paramatma, so that is described. So the Paramatma is eternally manifest with 4 hands. And when we say Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, so it is starting from the lower left hand. From there it actually, the whole cycle is actually mentioned. So this is the sequence in which it is actually described. So, and then if we study the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, so there are many different positions of the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. Based on that, the Lord also assumes different names. The Lord has different names based on the position of the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. So this, like this sequence of conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower is the standard way the Paramatma feature of the Lord has actually understood. So now, coming to this one of I'll just share my whiteboard. So here, an important aspect about the Lord being the Purusha is explained. So this is what is its relevance? Now, first of all, these aspects of description of the Lord. So what is its relevance to us? And then understanding the Lord as Purusha, or understanding the Lord as male or female. So how does it going to affect our devotional service? So this is a very important thing to understand. So first of all, so understanding the different features of the Lord, how is it going to help? So one thing is, we are caught up in the material world, and we have sufficient input of material things to us. So senses has sufficient input of material things, and through that we can only be materially conditioned, right? And for us to become purified, and for us to become advanced in Krishna consciousness, we need the substance, some transcendental substance to meditate upon. So we need an authorized information about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how he actually looks like, how he actually dresses himself up, and how, what's the color of his body, and how his bodily features are formed. So this is a transcendental subject. By meditating upon the transcendental subject, we can also become transcendental, right? So if we don't have these descriptions of the Lord, so then forever we will be there in this material world. We will never be able to see the doors of liberation, Mahatsvevam Dvara Mahur Vimuktes. So we will never be able to reach to the point of liberation or getting into the spiritual world and having the association of the Lord. It's the mercy of the Lord that he has very mercifully revealed his identity, revealed his features, revealed his form, to all of us, that we can actually meditate upon him. They become the object of our meditation. They become the object of our constant remembrance, right? So this is how we should see the description of the Lord, of the features of the Lord. And then the philosophical aspect of Lord being the Purusha. So how does it make any difference to us in practicing Krishna consciousness? So this word Purusha has multiple meanings. So one of the meanings is, Purusha means male. Another meaning of Purusha means enjoyer. And so these are all some of this ones. And another meaning of Purusha is the possessor of energies, right? So Prakriti means energy, which is feminine in nature. And Purusha means what is that? Purusha means male, enjoyer, or masculine in nature. So now all of us, who are we? Anybody can answer? Who are we? Purusha or Prakriti? It's a very simple question.
Prakriti.
Yeah, so we may be in the male body or a female body. So all of us are Prakriti, right? So all of us are by nature feminine in nature. So we are meant to render service to Krishna. And Krishna is a Purusha, who is meant to accept the service. He is the enjoyer, right? Bhoktaram Ignata Pasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarva Bhutanam Nyatva Shanti Machati. Right? So Bhokta, he is the enjoyer, right? So this is a very important principle to understand. So, but then in the material world, when Krishna explains the shloka, Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunay, Purusha Prakriti Stohi, no Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunay. So here in this shloka, what does this Purusha means? Anybody knows this shloka or can guess? What does this Purusha means? Purusha Prakriti Stohi, Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunay. Any idea?
Processor of Prakriti, Prabhuji?
No, here it talks about whom. Prakriti means like, here it talks about whom. It talks about the Lord.
It's of material nature, Prabhu.
No, here the Purusha means the living entity in this particular shloka. So why the living entity is called as Purusha? No, ideally like living entity is a Prakriti. No, why the living entity is called as Purusha? Because living entity, be there in the body of a male or a female, every living entity has come to this world to enjoy. No, like I don't want to be there in the spiritual world because they're only one enjoyer. No, Krishna is the enjoyer and all of us have to support him. No, I want to be the center of attraction. I want to be the enjoyer, right? So in the material world, like the materially conscious entities, all of them are trying to be Purushas. No, all of them are trying to be the controllers, the enjoyers, and the possessor of energies, right? So now, like in the ultimate sense, Krishna is the only Purusha, and the material nature is the material nature or the living entities or the yeah. So thank you, Manjula Mataji. So no, she has put this one. The living entity in the material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of material nature, right? So Purusha, Prakriti Stohi, Bhungte. Bhungte means like what is that? To enjoy, not to exploit the material nature. So all the living entities in the material world are trying to exploit the material nature. And this is due to his, association with the material nature. No, thus he meets good and like this Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasa Yoni Janmashu. So because of his long-standing association with the material nature, he assumes himself to be every living entity. Now here in this sense, like both male and female are addressed with the word he, right? So because everybody are acting like he, and actually speaking, only one he is there, that is Krishna. The rest everything is she only, right? So, but then every living entity is trying to become the he, right? So every living entity is trying to exploit the material nature, thinking that no, I am the enjoyer, right? So that's this one about that. So now I'll just project this on my whiteboard, and we will try to see a very important principle in our advancement in Krishna consciousness. So, yeah. So now we see that we have the basic philosophical aspect. No, what is that is needed for us is first is to understand who are we, and then who's Lord, and then how to worship him, how to establish the connection, right? So how to establish the connection with the Lord. So this is very essential. So in this this particular aspect is highlighted. Who's the Lord? So can anybody give me a definition of the Lord? Who's the Lord?
Who have the all six opulences in full.
Okay, all six opulences in full. So any other definition of Lord?
Is the ultimate source of everything.
Okay, ultimate source of everything. So the Lord is a source and all other things are existing, right? So Lord is different from all the things that are existing. Is it right? Is there any other definition that is there? More all-inclusive, more better definition than this?
Cause of all causes.
Cause of all causes, okay. So who's the Lord? So for a Kanishta Adhikari, for a person who's not an adhikari, that means for a person who has not got the mercy of the Lord, he says that there is no Lord exists. And then for a Kanishta adhikari, for a beginner in Krishna consciousness, if you ask him who is the Lord is the deity who's present in the temple, and no, he is present within the Garbhagriha. And also, my spiritual master is not different from the Lord. So, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. So, Lord means the Lord himself, the deity form in the temple, and then my spiritual master. No, that is the Lord, right? And then when a person goes to the level of Madhyam Adhikari, no, Adhikari means a person who has got the mercy of the Lord, right? So, for a person who has got a better mercy of the Lord or more mercy of the Lord, his understanding of the Lord actually increases, right? So he sees that Ishvare tadadineshu balisheshu dushatsucha prema maitri kripa apeksha ye karoti sa madhyama. So a madhyam adhikari, so he sees that the Lord, no, is there, and then he sees that like all the living entities are part and parcel of the Lord. So with the devotees, no, we have to develop some attachment, no, friendship we have to develop. And with the non-devotees who are innocent, no, we can preach to them because they are part and parcel of the Lord. They have strayed away from the path of the Lord. So we have to actually connect with them. So they are, no, they are also an amsha of the Lord, part of the Lord, right? So the Lord comprises even them also, right? And then he sees that like Veshis, no, like people who are envious of the Lord. So he keeps away from such people, right? So this is how he actually behaves. And then when a person goes to the Uttam Adhikari platform, who has got a very high dose of mercy of the Lord, so then he thinks in a completely different way. No, he says that Stavara Jangama deke na deke taramurti sarvatra deke ishtadava spurti. So he actually sees, no, though he sees so many different things around him, but he sees only the Lord. No, he cannot see anything else. Right? Because like everything that exists is part and parcel of the Lord. So it forms the body of the Lord, right? So the Lord is not just the Lord is full with all his potencies, no? The material energy, the spiritual energy, the marginal energy, all these energies put together is the Lord, right? So the Lord is inseparable. Like, no, Srila Prabhupada actually gives a very amazing example for this. No, he says that the this one of light, no, the fire with its qualities of light and heat. No, can you define light and heat without fire? No, it's not possible. No, for us to have light and heat, no, fire is needed. So even in the tube light, there is a combustion, there is some kind of a fire is generated, and that's how we get illumination. Right? So heat and light requires fire. So the fire is the Lord, and heat and light is the energies that are there. No, so in another shloka in the Vedic scriptures, it mentions Ekadesha Sthita Shadner Jyotsna Vistarina Yata. No, that is like just like Agni is situated in one place, so it spreads its Jyoti everywhere. So in the same way, Parasya Brahmana Shakti Etedam Akilam Jagat. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, though he is there in one place, his energies pervade, no, throughout the entire creation. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Narad Muni is instructing Vyasadeva, he is actually telling that Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetara. This material world, no, that you are seeing about is not different from the Lord. No, Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetara. So he actually mentions that a pure devotee, for him, the definition of the Lord increases and increases and increases. So he actually sees a very broad picture of the Lord. Right? So Lord is not just the deity who's stuck in the temple. So definitely the Lord is present over there. No, he's accepting our service over there. But then the Lord is present everywhere. No, like Lord is, no, my Lord is present everywhere. No, that understanding, and then the practical realization actually arises. Sometimes some sentimental people also tell like this, oh, my Lord is present everywhere and things like that. So, but then we have to judge with the other qualities, which are mentioned for a person of Uttam Adhikari. So then his consciousness is broadened. Many times when there is an original product is there, many imitation products will come. No, they may not be original. And they may just imitate certain aspects, but they cannot maintain their imitation because they are not in that level of devotion. So they may not be able to maintain that. So the Lord's definition means like the Lord is complete with all his energies, right? So now, so who is the Lord? So the Lord is Purusha. So Purusha means like the enjoyer, the male, the the possessor of all the energies. And this Purusha has primarily the three energies. No? So what is this one? One is material energy, and then another is marginal, and another is spiritual. Right? So now in the spiritual energy, okay, so now in this one, this is God, we call, right? So now, where does Lakshmi Devi and Srimati Radharani fit in this picture?
Energy, Prabhu.
Which energy?
Spiritual energy.
Spiritual energy, yeah. So then how can we call Srimati Radharani as Srimati Radharani is an energy of Krishna, and material energy is also energy of Krishna. So then what is the difference between these two?
Spiritual energy is part and parcel of Krishna, whereas the material energy is eternally separated.
Prabhu, spiritual energy, Krishna only says that it's higher than the material energy.
Yeah, it's higher
That
than...
is the internal potency, and the material energy is the external potency of the Lord.
Okay. So, like in terms of this one, if we see, if Krishna is there, so everything that exists is part and parcel of the Lord. Okay, sorry, I put Krishna in wrong place. No, Krishna is here. So then everything that exists is part and parcel of Krishna. Even material energy is also part and parcel of Krishna. Marginal energy is part and parcel of Krishna. And spiritual energy is also part and parcel of Krishna. But the spiritual energy is very, very close to Krishna, right? So it is very intrinsic. No, whatever Krishna desires, everything is executed by the spiritual energy of the Lord, right? So marginal energy, so sometimes they may accept, sometimes they may not accept. No, they choose to like go against the Lord sometimes, right? And material energy is also energy of Krishna, but it is, no, Krishna mentions as Binna Prakriti Rashtada. So he mentions it as separated energy. So it only means that it is separated from Krishna at a distance. No, but still we have another, the other statements of scriptures which says the material energy is also part and parcel of Krishna. So we should we should understand it in a wholesome way. So material energy is not in the sense separated from Krishna, fully tod phadke, separated from Krishna. So if that is the case, that goes against the philosophy. Philosophical, this one Vedanta Sutra says, Ekameva advitiyad. No, there is only one entity exists in the whole creation. There is no second entity, right? So even Srila Prabhupada writes in the purports, no, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without a second, right? So there is no second entity that is present. There is only one entity that is present. So then Binna means it cannot be like Binna, like two different entities. No, that goes completely against the philosophical conclusion. So it is connected with the Lord. It is part and parcel, but it is separated at a distance. No, it's an energy of Lord that's separated at a distance. And practically, how do we understand? Like how does that happen? So Krishna or Vishnu does not directly come in touch with the material nature. He actually expands himself as Lord Shiva. No Shiram yatadadi vikara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahi tata pratihasti hetu yat shambhutam apitata samapayati karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So the Lord expands himself as a Shambhu or Lord Shiva, and then through his this one, the whole material energy is kept under the expansion of Lord Shiva, who's also a Purusha, who's not a living entity like us, who's a Purusha, who's a Lord, who's Ishvara, right? Who's a controller. So, and under the control of Lord Shiva, the whole material energy is given, and he deals with the material energy, and whatever to be done with the material energy, he deals with it. And whenever there is an option of devotional service, somebody becomes a devotee of the Lord, then Vishnu comes into the picture. Otherwise, Vishnu just puts that in an auto mode, and then it's completely delegated, and it's completely managed by the Lord Shiva, under this one of the Shakti, Parvati's this one, the whole material nature is conducted. Vishnu doesn't have much operational role in the execution of the universal affairs. So in this way, we can see that like philosophically we saw that Bhinna Prakriti Rashtada, and practically also in the unfolding of the past tense, like when the material creation happens, it is created with a kind of a detachment. The Lord is completely detached in terms of the material, this one, right? So that's one essential understanding of the energy of the Lord. So now we are marginal energy, and so why is this very important to understand? This material energy is also part and parcel of the Lord, because now as part of devotional service, what are we doing with the material energy? Can anybody say some instances? How are we utilizing the material energy? How are we actually dealing with the material energy? Are we dealing with, oh, this is matter? No, I'm going to get contaminated. I will not touch any matter. Our body itself made of full of matter. So how should we deal with the matter?
We should use it in the service of the Lord, Prabhu, because it is energy of the Lord.
Mhm.
So we use it in service of the Lord.
So we use it in service of the Lord, still it is material, right?
I think it becomes spiritual, no, Prabhu. I'm not sure.
Okay. So it becomes spiritual. So, but then the spiritual means Sat, Chit and Ananda. And the matter that I'm using, probably this laptop that I'm using, so it doesn't have any Chit Shakti. It is not conscious. It's a matter. At the end of the day, it is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So it is composed of matter. How can, philosophically, yeah, it is mentioned that this laptop, because it has been used in Krishna's service, it is spiritual. So, but then how can we practically understand? This laptop is matter. It's made of matter.
Prabhu, it gets in touch with the spiritual energy of the Lord because you're using it in the service of the Lord. So it gets spiritualized. That's
okay. It is spiritual or spiritualized?
Spiritualized.
Okay. So that's a very important point. So this brings us to another important analogy. So, Srila Prabhupada explains that iron rod kept in the fire, it acquires the qualities of fire. So for all practical sense, if you touch the iron rod to a place, it will burn, right? So in the same way, the articles that are used in the service of the Lord, though they may be composed of matter, but they are spiritualized. When we come in touch with these items, so it has the practical effect of the spiritual. If we associate with the spiritual entity, what's the effect of being associated with the spiritual entity? It will purify us. The same effect we can actually get from a matter which is utilized in the service of Krishna, because it is spiritualized. Just like iron rod kept in the fire becomes fiery, but it doesn't become fire itself, right? So it acts, for all practical sense, it acts as fire, right? So in the same way, this matter, when we are utilizing in the service of Krishna, so it is like, just like, till the time this energy is kept far away from Krishna, right? So this energy is kept far away from Krishna, it is material. But when this material energy is used in service of Krishna, then it becomes spiritualized, because we are bringing the energy closer to Krishna. It's not far separated, it is closer to Krishna. So then it becomes spiritualized, right? So then it has the capacity to purify, it has the capacity to inspire us of Krishna. So by nature, the matter is designed by nature to forget Krishna, like to enable us to forget Krishna, right? So that's the basic composition, or basic, Asat, Achit and Nirananda. So this is the basic composition of matter. So, but then when the matter is utilized in the service of Krishna, so then it changes its quality. The same matter, just like we offer the flowers, to the lotus feet of the Lord, and then we smell the flowers. The same flower, if I am smelling somewhere else, which is not offered to the Lord, karma bandhana, right? So like, what is that? Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara yajnata karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana, right? So when the flower, I am just taking it and smelling it, for my own sense gratification, then karma bandhana, right? And then what is that? If I just offer the flower to the Lord in the service of the Lord for the Lord to enjoy, and we take the flower, and in the mood of a servant, I'm a servant of the Lord, and this is an article that is offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. This is worthy of my worship. This flower is my master, and I am its servant. And how will I serve it? No, by smelling the flower. No, it is a service that I'm offering to the Supreme Lord. So when I'm smelling the flower with the mood of service, and the flower is offered to the Lord, so then it inspires a transcendental intelligence into our system. It actually inspires devotion to Krishna, right? So the same material energy, when it is utilized in the service of Krishna, and then like what is that? Rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. So like we engage our senses with the objects that are in relation with Krishna. So then it becomes purifying, right? So this is a very important understanding. The matter becomes matter only when it is not used in the service of Krishna. So it is same for the prasadam, food that is offered to the Lord. So Sarita Mataji is asking, yeah. So it's the same for prasadam also, because the food is lovingly prepared, and served to the Lord, and then it becomes prasad. And the prasad we should approach in a mood that, okay, this is an entity had the good fortune to go close to Krishna, and this prasadam, this prasadam Krishna has enjoyed. This morsel of food has touched the lips of Krishna, and Krishna has enjoyed this, this prasadam, and this is more fortunate. This entity is non-different from Krishna for me, and now I am a servant and I have to serve. And in the mood of service, like when we accept the prasadam, so that becomes so purifying, nourishing, and actually speaking, like a small aspect of Krishna consciousness is sufficient enough. A small, very small aspect, just like taking darshan of the Lord. Smelling the flowers that are offered to the Lord, tasting the tulsis that are offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, accepting the prasadam. Each one of them is so fully packed and potent, can reveal the entire Krishna consciousness for us. It can actually like deliver us. It can actually give the complete understanding of Krishna to us. Each and every devotional element is so very potent. It's not that only by studying scriptures we will understand. The studying of the scriptures is one of the service, definitely we must do. But then all other aspects which are there, they are also equally and like equally powerfully potent actually. So we should try to invest our consciousness as we being the servant and Lord being the master, and we have a relationship of like I am serving and the Lord is accepting the service. And how to see all other entities in relationship with Krishna, how to see the bhoga that is offered to Krishna, how to see the flowers that are offered to Krishna, and they are non-different from Krishna for us, and we render service to them, right? So in this mood, like when we actually approach, so then and keep on having this word ringing in our head that Krishna is the Purusha, Krishna is the Bhokta, Krishna is the enjoyer. I am his servant, right? So I am meant to be enjoyed by Krishna, and Krishna is the enjoyer. So that actually gives us a lot of amazing this one, like in each of the services, just by putting this sambandha in the right place, we get maximum benefit out of that particular service. The same service, anyway, we are going to do the same service. Anyway, we are going to open the altar. Anyway, we are going to offer an arti, take the darshan of the Lord, offer bhoga. But then if we can do with this sambandha gyan, proper understanding of what is what, and with this mood of, like the Lord is the enjoyer, Lord is the Purusha, and I am to be enjoyed. So when I offer myself in that way, then actually I make more advancement than by performing a mechanical devotional service, right? So in this way, like this word Purusha and this like few other aspects that Srila Prabhupada mentions here is that sometimes people actually understand the Lord to be feminine. Like there are people like who project Shakti or Mother Durga as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So, but then that is a mistaken idea. So the Shaktas, like, in some other class, we can actually discuss about the progression of philosophy from materialism to Shakta to then, like after that, it comes to the Ganapatyas and Shaurashtras and then the Shaivas and Vaishnavas. So that's a progression of philosophy actually. So we can, sometime we can discuss that. So, but here, we see that the Lord is accepted as a male Purusha, the enjoyer, like all the time. And then the feminine part of the Lord is considered in the category of Shakti. Just because feminine part is considered in the category of Shakti, it doesn't mean that all the Shaktis are equal. Srimati Radharani and Lakshmi Devi, they are quite closer to Krishna. And for for a good number of reasons, they are almost equal to Krishna, right? So almost equal to Krishna. Krishna is the only person who's equal to himself, but these entities are almost equal to Krishna. But the material elements that we see around, so they are not they are part and parcel of Krishna. They are non-different from Krishna, but they are more different from Krishna than similar from Krishna, right? So they have very little similarity, or they have very little sense of equality with Krishna. So, but then they are quite different from Krishna. So, but then in the aspect of Lakshmi Devi, Radharani, and all, they are almost similar to Krishna. Very little difference is there. So the simultaneous oneness and difference, the proportion of difference and the oneness actually varies between the external energy, which is kept quite far away, and the internal energy, which is kept quite near to Krishna, right? So that's a difference that we actually studied. And then we saw about all these goddesses of fortune are servitors of the Lord. So they are not the supreme, as falsely imagined by the impersonalists. So impersonalist says the Panchopasana. So they worship all of them as equal as the supreme, right? So and then Lord Krishna in his Narayana feature is always four-handed, and the aspect of in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this is also very nice. So Krishna reveals the four-handed feature and then further reveals the universal form, and then he retracts all of them, right? So Krishna has the capacity to manifest and retract these forms. So that means Krishna's form is superior. Two-handed form is superior to the four-handed form and the Virata Rupa. So this is one of the logic that the Acharyas give. So with that, we kind of come to the end of this purport. So, sorry, I had a very philosophical class today. We can have, maybe in question answers, we can discuss some finer aspects of the Lord's personality. Okay, so now there is a question here. How do we honor prasadam as a service? We should be, what is it? What should be our mood? Okay, so prasadam sevana, so that is one, this one. And even in the Tamil language, I don't know in other languages how do they mention that. So in Tamil language, the Sri Vaishnavas, if you see, for taking darshan of the Lord, they call as sevikardu, means they I'm going to serve the Lord. So that means we should understand he's going to take darshan of the Lord. And then prasada sevana, that is also even serving the prasadam means it means that he's going to honor the prasadam, he's going to actually put it in the mouth and then have the prasadam. So the mood is that, so this is something which is in connection with Krishna. It is very special, right? Just a minute. So yeah, so we see that the mood is that the prasadam is the master. Prasadam is something that has actually come in the close proximity of Krishna, right? So, and it has the capacity, it is completely spiritualized, and it has the capacity to purify me. It has the capacity to liberate me from the material bondage, and it has the capacity to reveal Krishna unto me, right? So that's the mood in which we actually approach. And then even this meditation, one of my seniors actually taught me this meditation, that to consider that every morsel of the food has touched the lips of Krishna. And it's so fortunate, we are struggling to even chant the Hare Krishna mantra and get Krishna in our consciousness. But this morsel of food has actually, touched the lips of Krishna, and it is so very special, right? So I'm very fortunate to get this a reciprocation of Krishna, right? Like that. So and then with respect, please repeat how two-handed form is superior to four-handed and Vishwarup. So because the Acharyas explain that Krishna actually he manifests the four-handed form at his will, and then he manifests the Vishwarup form of the Lord, and then at his will he actually retracts these forms. And the Acharyas say we don't find any instances of Narayana in his Leela actually displaying the 200 form. No, so 200 form is superior. Like no, it is in fact in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasavabhrutya, and in this Arasavabhrutya means all others are servants. So in this we can actually understand, no, Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and from him comes the first expansion is Balaram. So for all practical purposes, like Balaram is as good as Krishna. All the bodily features, everything is the same. Only the color is different. No, Krishna is dark blue and Balaram is white. And then another major difference is Krishna is in the mood of the enjoyer and Balaram is in the mood of servitude, right? And from Balaram comes the 400 features of Narayana, no, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva, right? So the 400 feature of the Lord actually comes from Balaram. So like from the first expansion, Balaram, so the mood is set as service. So Krishna is the one Ishvara, no, who is the enjoyer, and all other expansions of Krishna. So even though they are also Purusha, but they are in the mood of serving Krishna, right? So in that way, like we can actually understand that 200 form is superior to the 400 form and the Vishwarup, right? So, and then the Naivedyam, okay, in Malayalam, yeah. So Naivedyam, you know the etymology, Prabhu, of that?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So then, why Arjuna requests Krishna to show 400 form of Narayana instead of original 200 form after seeing the Vishwarup form? So, Arjuna was so much terrified, with the form of Vishwarup, because the Vishwarup, the universal form, he was seeing so many things that are happening. Many people are crushed to death, and it's so fearsome and ghastly, as he is actually mentioning over there. So when he is actually like seeing this ghastly feature of the Lord, he's not able to bear that. So then he is actually requesting the Lord that you please retract this this form, like which is very, very fearsome for me to behold, right? So then he actually requests the Lord to actually show his the previous manifestation that he was showing. And then finally, like Arjuna, though he has seen all these things, he has settled to be the friend of 200 form of Krishna. He has what is that, even the in his prayers, actually this is sometimes mentioned that like it actually spoiled the mood of Arjuna. Arjuna was a very nice friend of Krishna. So when Krishna showed all these things, then Arjuna started lamenting, I had slept with you in the same bed, and we both have eaten in the same plate and things like that. So, and I've called you with very, very friendly terms, like I've related with you in that way. I'm very sorry, Krishna, and things like that. And Krishna doesn't like, Krishna likes, if everybody maintains a good, distance of relationship. So everybody wants a relationship. So Krishna likes very intimate relationships. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also likes intimate relationships. And that is possible in the 200 form, where he has very intimate relationships, right? So like in that way, we can see that Arjuna, he actually relates with the 200 form of Krishna. So like maybe he would have called upon Krishna, he would have requested Krishna to show the Vishwarup and then the 400 form, but then he didn't maintain a long-standing relationship with those forms. He actually maintained relationship with Krishna in 200 form, right? Okay, so can you please tell about the school of Bhagavatam and how does it vary from that of Prabhupada's description? So Bhagavata school, we are all belonging to the Bhagavata school. So Bhagavan means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Bhagavata means something which is in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So that is why the devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord, who is like always engaged in the service of the Lord, is called as a Bhagavata. And the book that describes the glories of the Lord exclusively, not beating around the bush, like the Bhagavatam itself, it says, what is that? Dharma prochita kaitavatra paramo nirmat saranam satam, like Vedyam vastama atra vastu shivadam, tapatrayon mulanam. So we can see that like this Srimad Bhagavatam is not going to beat around the bush. It has a very, very clear clear focus, that is to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So that is why it is called as Bhagavata. And Bhagavata school means like whatever we are dealing with, our philosophy, the Srila Prabhupada's Prabhupada's explanation is coming from the Bhagavata school, right? So we are one of the particular kinds of the Bhagavata school. All the Vaishnava paramparas are can be called as Bhagavata school because they deal only with and only things in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Bhagavan, right? So that is why they are called as Bhagavata school. Okay. So it is said that the position of club, disc, lotus, and conch shell gives different forms of Vishnu. Heard of only 3 forms of Vishnu. What are the other 21? No, there are many forms. I also don't remember it exactly. Out of my this one. So, but if you read the teachings of Lord Chaitanya or Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, so there you'll find the various descriptions of various names of Vishnu, with in regard to the position of Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, what they have in their hand, right? So, okay. So it is 9 o'clock, and sorry, I came very late today because of some of other engagements I had. If Nevedyam, whatever has offered as Nivedana, is Nevedya, whatever has been given as Nevedya is the process. Nevedya is a process of offering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, offering the foodstuffs to the Lord. And then the outcome of the, this one is called the prasad, right? So it's a Nevedya it is in the South Indian language, they call it like that. Okay, so thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please chant one time Hare Krishna to Prabhuji to shower us more to him also as well as for us also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare